Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in my dilapidated little converted garage. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and I'm joined today, of course, by our technical director, Jonathan Voico's here. Jonathan, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing? Welcome in.
Now, it is Thursday, which is normally the days that Chris Parker, 3C Films, would normally be on the show with us today. However, he's got family coming into town this week, so he'll be back again next week. So today, it's going to be Jonathan and I holding down the fort with, of course, the most important people. You guys. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, or an issue you'd like me to address and you're watching live, and you got to be watching live for it, go ahead and send it on into the super chat feature. And as long as I deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll get around to addressing it in the second part of the show. And just so you know, at some point during the show, I will be turning off the super chats because they do get filled up rather quickly. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. With that down, let's get things started here today, shall we? Let's start off with this. You know, one of the things that drives me nuts about our wonderful online movie space is a twofold problem, Jonathan. It's a twofold problem. Number one, it's people posting false information. That drives me a little bit crazy. And it also drives me crazy. The second thing is that we as a movie fandom tend to just see false information and don't apply any critical thinking to it at all. And we just believe it and run with it. And that, listen, that has happened to all of us on this show and all of you watching this show. Okay. We're all guilty of it. Okay. There's a lot of blame to go around. Well, every day, as I'm getting ready for the show, Jonathan, once I've got like most of the things together, I put up a post on the community tab on our YouTube channel. And I ask our channel members, say, hey guys, just about done putting the show notes together. Do you have anything you want to make sure we talk about today? Throw it in here. And today I got about 3 or 4 of the responses were about this. John, did you see that deadline? Right up there at the top tier, along with like Variety, Hollywood Reporter, top tier outlets out there. They say, John, did you hear that Deadline is confirmed that Magneto is going to be in the X-Men movie and that Lee Pace, Henry Cavill, and Matt Smith are reportedly the ones being eyed for it. It's coming from Deadline, John, so you know it must be true. I'm like, wow, that's fascinating. So like the first thing I did was I asked the people in the live or in that chat, I said, hey, give me the name of the article so I can go and search it. And crickets. Nobody got back to me with any article. I'm like, okay, I better go to Deadline myself and start looking for this Deadline confirmed that Magneto is in the movie and that Lee Pace, Henry Cavill, and Matt Smith are up for the role. And I looked and I looked and I looked and nope. There is no article on Deadline that says Magneto is officially appearing in X-Men, nor is there any article on Deadline that is saying that Lee Pace, Henry Cavill, and Matt Smith are in the running. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. This isn't just one person posting this. This is multiple people posting, John, you know, Matt Smith, Lee Pace via Deadline. I'm like, what's this about? So one of their viewers finally writes in and says, John, it's a Twitter account that is saying these things.
Which is always accurate.
Which, number one, don't be on Twitter, okay?
I hate that I had to reinstate my account.
Twitter is a cesspool of garbage, misinformation, and hobo cum. That's what the entire bathtub of Twitter is. There is
painted my screen with coffee, John. Thank you.
No rational person should be on Twitter. Okay. It's a garbage place and nobody should. I had over 100,000 followers on it. And I was like, no, this place is absolute putrescence. And I got the hell out of Dodge years ago. But at any rate. So, but apparently on Twitter, this is where everybody got it from. It came from a thing called Complex Pop Culture. That name sound familiar, Jonathan?
Yes.
Yes. See, Complex, for those of you who don't know, follow me here. Complex was the company that owned Collider when I was running Collider Video. So when I came over to run Collider Video, it wasn't Collider that hired me. It was Complex that hired me. Complex hired me to come. Yeah, they hired me to come over and create this Collider Video thing, and we brought AMC Movie News over and all that kind of stuff. It's different today. Collider now is owned by, in my opinion, a really terrible, awful company. It's not Complex anymore. And Complex itself is no longer owned by the people that owned it when I was there. So it's a totally different entity. But Complex, on their Twitter handle, Complex Pop Culture, they are the ones who posted this tweet that everybody is getting this from. Like, I've seen a couple of outlets running with this now, and they're also claiming it comes via Deadline, but they're all getting it.
Deadline.
Yes, they're all getting it from this one place. Complex Pop Culture wrote on their tweet, this is their tweet, Magneto will officially appear in Marvel's X-Men films in 2028. Lee Pace, Henry Cavill, and Matt Smith are reportedly being eyed for the role via Deadline. Give you that smack of credibility. It's via Deadline. Here's the problem. Deadline never said Magneto is officially appearing in the new X-Men movie. Deadline never said that. They never said it. Doesn't matter if it was Lee Pace, who would be a great Magneto, by the way. I love Lee Pace. He would be a magnificent Magneto. Matt Smith, I think, would be a great Magneto. Henry Cavill, you already know, I think he'd be a great Magneto. All of them great. But yeah, number one, Deadline never said that Magneto is officially coming into the X-Men. I think he will be, but Deadline never said that. And Deadline never said Lee Pace, Henry Cavill, and Matt Smith are being eyed for the role. It's just all pure nonsense. So if you are one of the many people who either saw that tweet or saw some outlet running with the story because it's via Deadline, or saw other people in some chat forum talking about it, please spread the word that it is not true. It is not true at all. Deadline never said Magneto's officially in X-Men, and Deadline never said Lee Pace, Henry Cavill, and Matt Smith are in the running for it.
And what's crazy
is
if you had just clicked on that @Deadline hyperlink, you would find nothing in their threads or, posts, I should say, about it. So it's just like, I'm just going to say @Deadline after every statement I ever make now.
Yeah. I'm absolutely going to say that. I'm going to get on Instagram later, cause I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm going to get on Instagram later and say, David Ellison claims he loves, butt feather ticklers, and via Variety.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put via Variety. Let's see how far that goes.
Hobo's unhappy with John Campea's reference at Deadline.
Deadline. It brings up two things. Number one, I'd like to know what the actual fuck is Complex doing posting this in the first place, because it's clear, obvious bullshit, and it's just spreading a lot of misinformation. But the second thing is it brings us back to a thing that I'm always telling our viewers, and I remind myself about this all the time too. Follow the source. Where does it come from? Because it's not just here on Twitter. Facebook is one of the ways, who uses Facebook anymore? But Facebook is one of the ways that I actually keep in touch with a lot of my friends back home in Canada. So, but I see these types of BS posts all the time. Like, intergalactic movie fan geeks.nerd or whatever, and they'll make some graphic and it says, make some absolutely outlandish story, and then it'll say, via the Wrap, and it's not, that's not from the Wrap, or via this, and it's not. So I always got to encourage our fellow film fans, follow the source. Who is actually saying it? Because this has come up a lot of times too, Jonathan, where it's like, oh, John, did you hear? I'm just going to make up a story. I'm just going to make up a story right now. Did you hear that Harrison Ford has signed on for Justice League? Okay,
Oh,
so
that's cool.
that's yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So I'm just making that up, and I'll say, okay, well, where did you hear it? And people say,
Hollywood Reporter.
it's being reported by like the
Right.
Direct and Movie Web and CBR. I'm like, oh, wow. But then I'll go to the Direct, Movie Web and CBR, and none of them are the ones saying it. They're all saying this Twitter account said it. So really, it's not the Direct is not reporting that it happened. It's not Movie Web reporting. It's not they're all saying they saw it at the same Twitter account, and that's where it came from. So that's what I mean to everybody. Make sure in this world of massive amounts of misinformation being out there, follow the source and see who's actually saying it.
Because otherwise it becomes a feedback loop.
And it amplifies.
Yeah,
the feedback loop amplifies. So it's a problem. So just once again, everybody, just so we're clear, that story that Magneto is confirmed for X-Men and that Lee Pace, Matt Smith, and Henry Cavill, all of whom I believe are possibilities of being Magneto, like any of this can come to pass. But as of right now, via Deadline, that story is absolutely false because Deadline did not say it. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to start today's show with that and get that out of the way. Whatever you guys think about all this, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, we talked the other day as the Odyssey was hitting like $1.29 billion. And we reported that, you know, hey guys, it is now official. It's about to pass Deadpool and Wolverine. The Odyssey is about to pass Deadpool and Wolverine to be the singular highest grossing R-rated film of all time. It's something I never thought could happen. Like I thought Odyssey had a chance at $1 billion because of how big Oppenheimer was. I thought it had a shot at $1 billion. But let's not be stupid. It's not going to catch Deadpool and Wolverine at like $1.3+ billion. Well, that thing we said was about to happen has now officially happened, as the Odyssey has now crossed $1.34 billion at the box office, officially making it the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. And Ryan Reynolds decided to send out this really funny little congratulatory video to them, but we'll get into that here in a second. Let's go over here. The folks over at Comic Book Movie wrote, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey has now passed Deadpool and Wolverine's global box office total to become the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. Marvel Studios' 2024 superhero team-up, Deadpool and Wolverine, blockbuster had held the record with $1.338 billion worldwide, which Nolan's fantasy epic still trailing by roughly $47 million just a couple of days ago. That gap has been narrowing since and has now, thanks to China, been erased, as it is now at $1.34 billion, and it's still in theaters. And then I'm not going to play it here out of risk of some kind of copyright thing.
Sure.
But Ryan Reynolds took to social media and he wrote, "Congratulations to the entire cast and crew of The Odyssey for becoming the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. That is one hell of a car." And the video, again, I won't play it out of risk of a copyright strike, but the video is the scene in Deadpool and Wolverine where they're fighting in the car in the middle of the forest.
Right.
And it's just so happens that that forest looks exactly like the forest that Odysseus and his men are walking through when they come across the giants in the silver armor. And it intercuts between the fight between Deadpool and Wolverine in the car in the forest and Matt Damon and his men. It's pretty funny.
That's
it's
great.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, look, I understand. And I know we've been talking a lot about the Odyssey, but I think part of the reason why is because I think people have become desensitized. I think we have become desensitized to when something amazing happens. It is not every day that a new all-time happens, right? And when you get something like the Odyssey, which I still don't know, Jonathan, that Twitter place we were just talking about told me that nobody was going to go see the Odyssey and that was guaranteed to flop. So I don't know what's going on.
Per Variety, it was woke slop.
Yeah, per Variety, woke slop, the Odyssey, doomed to fail. So it's not every day that a number like this happens when something that has never happened before happens. And for this movie to reach 1.34 billion, it might get to 1.4. Hell, there are some people saying it might get to 1.5. Is just an absolutely phenomenal accomplishment that I don't know the next time we're going to see an R-rated film beat this record. Now, I never thought, for the record, I never thought the Deadpool and Wolverine's record would never be broken. Like at some point, it was only 1.3 something. Some movie at some point is going to break it, but it's not going to be often. And I don't know when the next time is going to be that we're going to get an R-rated film that'll come along and beat like 1.4 plus billion dollars. I don't know the next time something like that's going to happen.
And this was only 2 years later.
Yeah. And it was only 2 years later. 2 years later. I guess the next time it has a chance of happening is the next time Christopher Nolan decides to direct an R-rated film.
Which could be maybe 2029. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that he continues to go up and up and up, but I am very curious about where he goes from here in terms of story. Like what is he looking at?
Because you remember after Oppenheimer, that was the big, everybody was waiting on bated breath. Like he just won the Oscars. He won a bunch of Oscars. You know, it was almost $1 billion film, part of the big Barbenheimer success. And everybody's like, what's next? What's next? Right. Now, eventually they announced Odyssey, but that's now the question is what's next?
Yeah. And, you know, to be fair, when they announced the Odyssey, we were all like, huh?
Yeah, that was weird.
And I kind of felt like in my mind, like, oh, well, I guess this is going to be really cool. And it's from Christopher Nolan. And I like the Odyssey, but this is kind of a step back for him, like a sword and sandal thing. You know, I don't know how audiences are going to perceive this, but I'm still in it, but I'm not whatever. And it blew everyone away. Come on.
Yeah. It blew everybody away, and people are still going to see it. And now it is the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Yeah. All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It is now official. Ryan Reynolds has conceded that Deadpool and Wolverine is no longer the highest grossing R-rated film ever. It is now Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Whatever. Just think, guys, it's only got $12 trillion more to go to break even, according to Twitter. So we'll see how that goes. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Most of you who watch this show know that there's this little Italian show that is one of my all-time favorite shows ever. It's called Sons of Anarchy, which is comes from me accidentally hearing somebody misspeak and mispronounce the word anarchy. What's anarchy? Oh, that's Anarchy. So ever since then, I thought, oh, it's an Italian show. Being an Italian, the Sons of Anarchy. So Sons of Anarchy is in my top 3 all-time favorite shows ever. As a matter of fact, one of my prized possessions that I have ever spent a lot of money on, and I did spend a lot of money on it, for me, at any rate. I'm sure Robert Meyer Burnett has spent more on 3 or 4 Hot Toys, but is this on-set used Sons of Anarchy patch. This is the actual vest, was on set of the show. And I don't know if you can barely tell by some of the silver scribblings. Yeah. I have the autograph of all the cast members, all the main 7 cast members, all autographed. That patch. It is one of my most favorite and prized possessions that I own. I absolutely love this thing, and I look at it every day. Anyway, some of you guys may have heard the news the other day that, John, did you hear that they're bringing Sons of Anarchy back? To which I was, and they're bringing back the original cast, which is fascinating. because they all dead. I mean, the characters it anyway. Clay, dead. Bobby, dead. Ope, dead. Juice, dead. Jax, dead. Gemma, dead. They're all dead.
Seems like a bad biker gang to be in.
The only guy who survived was Chibs, and then he was on House of the Dragon and just got burned by a dragon.
There you go.
After running a sword up Ormond Hightower's arse, he then got burned by a dragon. Yes, that's Chibs. So anyway, you might have heard us coming back, and now we've got a picture as to what it is and how, and it sounds crazy. Get this. Sons of Anarchy. This is via the Hollywood Reporter. Sons of Anarchy spin-off Legends, Sons of Anarchy Legends, ordered with Charlie Hunnam, original cast returning with a twist. With a twist. Just as a side note, a friend sent me this morning. Anarchy Quest, Never Surrender. And the reason he sent me that
yeah. That's great.
The reason he sent me Anarchy Quest is because this sounds like Galaxy Quest, but with Sons of Anarchy. This is crazy. And apparently Charlie Hunnam himself is the guy who came up with it. So this is what it says in the Hollywood Reporter. Ready for Sons of Anarchy meets Galaxy Quest? FX has ordered, which is the network that Sons of Anarchy originally aired on. FX has ordered a wildly original meta thriller spin-off from Sons of Anarchy star Charlie Hunnam. The limited series Legends will reunite the original cast of the hit Motorcycle Club crime drama, only this time they'll be playing fictionalized versions of themselves. The official description reads like this. When the cast of Sons of Anarchy reunites at a fan convention after more than a decade, the line between life and art blurs as the fractured brotherhood finds itself up against a real-world threat more dangerous than anything they ever faced in the show. So it's basically Galaxy Quest.
I'm assuming they're playing themselves as actors then.
Yes, but much like the way that who's the guy best known for? He was in How I Met Your Mother, and he's known for playing himself. What's that actor's name?
Harris?
Neil Patrick. Yeah, so it's going to be but fictionalized version of the. So
sure.
Charlie Hunnam is Charlie Hunnam, but a little more exaggerated version of himself, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure in Harold and Kumar he does play himself too, and that's a wild role.
Yeah, he's done it several times. And you know what's funny? Ann and I think it was about a year ago, we were at a big convention and we got a picture with the full cast. Well, not the full cast, but about 5 of them, including Charlie and Ron Perlman and stuff like that. Yeah. We got a picture with the cast. And you know what really struck us was that, like, the way they were all talking, like, I think these guys truly love each other. Like, these guys were truly having a great time hanging out together, doing it. So it's going to be them at some big fan convention, and something's going to come up, and they have to, I don't know, grab a bunch of display motorcycles and jump on the motorcycles.
Who knows? This sounds wild.
And ride into action.
I'm kind of like, on one hand, no, this is awful. But on the other hand, I'm morbidly curious, and it could be amazing. Like, yeah, I'm not until I see something, I can't just judge it.
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself because look, I'm not going to lie. When I first heard a new Sons of Anarchy thing, I was hoping for a new Sons of Anarchy thing. You know what I thought at first? Have you watched House of Asher yet?
Only a little bit.
Okay. So for those you don't know what we're talking about here, Sons of Asher, House of Asher is a follow-up to another one of my top 5 all-time favorite shows, Spartacus.
Yeah.
Now, in Spartacus, Asher dies. So, like, how are they doing a sequel with Asher? Well, what they did, and I'm just telling you what my thought was, okay? This is not what's happening. Just to be clear, this is what my thought was. What they did in House of Asher was House of Asher starts with him in like a hell purgatory, right? And a spirit says to him, you're being sent back, but the world is going to be changed. In the world you're being sent back to, it's going to imagine that you killed Spartacus.
Hmm.
So you are now going back to the world of the living, but in that world, something that did not happen in the original Spartacus show, we're going to say happened, that you killed Spartacus. Now go. And then all of a sudden, Asher's back to life, and Asher's in the real world, in a world that believes he killed Spartacus. Okay, now the reason I bring that up in talking about Sons of Anarchy, with everybody dying, my thought was, when I first heard they're going to bring them back, was in Sons of Anarchy, and I don't know, Jonathan, if you watch Sons of Anarchy, but in Sons of Anarchy,
Season
for
one,
those of you who watched, okay,
I'm way behind.
it's one of the greatest shows ever.
Yeah.
So for those of you who did watch it, there was this homeless woman that once or twice a season would just kind of be there. This homeless woman would be sitting on the steps of a bank as the guys are walking into a bank, and you just see her, right? And then maybe 12 episodes later, one of the guys, maybe Jax, is walking down an alley and he comes across that same homeless woman and he's like, who are you? And then nothing, and then leaves. And then she just keeps popping up here and there until finally, as you get into the latter seasons, she actually starts saying some things that she shouldn't be able to say. The fan theory that went around was that she was an angel. And actually, Jack started to believe she might be a divine being. She might be an angel or something like that. Something supernatural.
Right.
And nothing in Sons of Anarchy is remotely supernatural. But that's what the thought started to become, and a big fan theory that she might be the Reaper, or she might be an angel, because Sons of Anarchy's logo is the Reaper. Anyway, so when I heard that they're coming back with another Sons of Anarchy, my first thought was they might be doing a House of Asher, where maybe the angel gathers Clay and Ope and Bobby and Juice and Jax and Gemma and gather them all and says, okay, we're sending you back for a do-over. And this time, and that's what I thought they were doing. And I thought, well, that's a bit of a stretch, but it's Sons of Anarchy, so that's fine. I'm down for it. And of course, it's not what they're doing. They're doing a Galaxy Quest version instead. Yeah. And you know what? Sign me up. I'm all for checking this out. It is a limited series, so it's just going to be like a mini series. Probably going to be like 6 episodes or something like that, I'm guessing. Oh, and by the way, the creator of Sons of Anarchy, Kurt Sutter, who I've spoken with, he was asked if he's involved with it, and he said, nope, I'm not involved with it in any way. And he said, and I shouldn't be, because I created the fictional world of Sons of Anarchy. This is about the people who made it. And he said, Charlie came to me and asked and told me the idea and asked for my blessing to do it. And I said, the idea sounds great. Go and do it. And his wife, who plays Gemma, Peg Bundy, is married to Kurt Sutter. He said, I happened to maybe take a little peek at her script. He said, this thing is effing awesome. You guys got to watch it. So it's going ahead with his full blessing. Anyway, guys, what's that?
Do you think this will pull in like new audiences, because now it's got like kind of a Comic-Con thing and kind of a more of a, I don't know. I don't want to say sci-fi or anything, because I really don't know what the big threat is, but that it might pull in new audiences too, that had never really, they knew about Sons of Anarchy, but they never watched it. And this is kind of like a weird crossover meta thing.
That's a great question.
That then even draws attention back to the original series.
See, that's even the bigger question, because obviously people who watched, which when it was on, it was the biggest hit FX ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously nerds like me are going to watch this. They're going to watch Legends. But will it draw in a new audience? And then the second part of that question is, will that new audience then go and check? Could this be being used as a play by FX to bring more attention to the original series? That's a really good, I guess it's all going to depend on how they market it. It's all going to depend on how they market it.
Because I had only gotten into the first season. Now I'm kind of like, I'm wondering, because I'm interested in this, and this might spark me to go back. So I can't be the only one.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this Sons of Anarchy is getting the Galaxy Quest treatment, and as the actors are all playing themselves and have to go on some kind of an adventure. I'm down for it. Was not on my bingo card, but I'm down for this. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, for those of you who, like me, tried to jump on your AMC app, the AMC website, AMC anything, to try to buy those Dune tickets that came on sale the other day, you'll know the pain of trying to get on the site and seeing you're in queue for 12 minutes or 6 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever, and then getting in only to be kicked out and then trying to get back in again and, you know, all the hubbubaloo that ended up going along with it. Well, Prince Clown of all things movie theaters, Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC, who I just, in my personal estimation, is an incompetent boob. But Adam Aron got on X, which we've already expressed my thoughts of X earlier today. But Adam Aron got on X the other day, and he said that the reason, he goes, oh, it's not our fault that the site's crashed. He said that the demand for Dune 3 tickets were triple what the demand for Spider-Man Brand New Day tickets were. That's what he said. Let's go over and take a look. This is from his post specifically. Ticketing traffic across AMC's website and mobile app reached levels approximately 3 times higher than what we experienced during the Spider-Man Brand New Day ticket launch, which itself followed strong advanced sales for the Odyssey ticket launch before that. It's not that our system totally failed. Yes, it is. Anyway, we have been selling enormous numbers of tickets today, but when any of our customers experience less than our best, it's just not right. It's a high-class problem to have such staggering demand. But even so, it's intolerable and inexcusable, and it just cannot stand and should not happen because as AMC, we're the clear market leader. You deserve better from us. Yes, we do. Now, there's a couple of interesting things in this post. Number one is when you read the post about it's the demand for Dune tickets. The Dune tickets were triple the demand for Spider-Man, which we'll get to that part in a second. Because I'm looking forward to Dune, and I'm sure a lot of other people are too. But what is absent from this post is any acknowledgement that this happens all the damn time. If you were to read this post in a vacuum, you would be led to believe that this was the first time ever that AMC's websites have had any problems handling customers trying to buy tickets. And just in the last 2 months, that's happened 2 or 3 times. And obviously many times before that. So again, in a vacuum, you read this and you think, AMC, because of this insane demand for Dune tickets, which it is my most anticipated film of the year. But in the insane demand for this, we were caught by this once in a lifetime experience where our, site malfunctioned, had a glitch, it tripped, it had an oopsie. We weren't able to serve people the way they want to be served and deserve to be served. But the problem is, it's done this a number of times just in the last number of weeks. Did it with the Odyssey. It did it with the first round of those tickets. It did it with Spider-Man. It absolutely did it with Doomsday tickets. And here's the thing too. This moves me on to the second part here. This claim here, I'm just going to say is suspicious. When he says, we approximately 3 times higher than what we experienced during Spider-Man Brand New Day, 3 times higher. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but when Spider-Man Brand New Day tickets went out, weren't there articles in the Wrap and stuff like that talking about it was like a top 5 biggest pre-sales for a movie ever?
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that the demand for Dune Part 3 was 3 times higher. Now, look, let me be clear. I am not privy to the internal IT data at AMC, okay? Just to be clear, I don't have that data. I don't have it. But I got to call BS on this. And there is nobody in the world who is as looking forward to Dune 3 than I am. And absolutely, there has been legitimate demand for Dune 3 tickets. 100% there has been. But the claim that it had triple the amount of traffic of people trying to buy tickets, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to show me the receipts for that. You're going to have to show me the receipts for that. As much as I'm looking forward to seeing eunuch Robert Pattinson, as I'm sure everybody else is too, you're going to have to show me some damn good receipts for that to make a claim like there were triple the amount of, like, I want to see Fandango say that. I want to see Fandango come out and say, wow. And if Fandango does, hey, I tip my cap. I admit I was wrong. But if Fandango comes out, I want to see them say, yeah, we had triple the demand than we had for Spider-Man 3. Bull. So not only are you phrasing this whole thing as if this was a first-time occurrence, oh my goodness, we had a service outage. Quel surprise. Like, it's never happened before. You're now saying it's because the demand for Dune 3 was triple that of Spider-Man? Look, just come out and say, you know what? I wouldn't fault you. Just come out and say, hey, we know our website didn't function up to spec. And a lot of you guys had a bad experience, and some of you couldn't even get your tickets. And we apologize for that. We're working on fixing the problem. There was a lot of people on the site lately, and we're trying to fix the problem. I could be totally down with that. That's totally fine. But this whole thing about pretending like it's never happened, Jonathan, and then saying, oh, it's because of Dune 3 being triple the demand of Spider-Man No Way Home or a Spider-Man Brand New Day. Mm-hmm. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Well, one, I'm curious because you and I at least I did not check Regal's site. So I'm curious if people in our chat had the same experience with Regal. Second, my theory on this is that the data is skewed, and it's skewed in a convenient way to be able to say it was triple the demand. When Spider-Man Brand New Day came out, it was not in IMAX, any IMAX screens, 70mm or single laser. Yet what was crashing were all of the 70mm and single laser IMAX screenings for Dune. Because I was able to get into like a standard format. I was even able to get into a Dolby Cinema format, but it crashed every time I tried to get into IMAX. And I'm wondering if they're conveniently saying, well, look at all of the tickets that flooded in for Spider-Man for all tiers of theater. And then look at what happened with IMAX, single laser, and 70mm plus standard format, which was way lower. And then you can run those numbers to say, see, it was 3 times the demand for Dune on this day, because they were all rushing into very limited theaters that were IMAX. That's my theory, is that the data may be true, but it's skewed with IMAX numbers because they didn't expand IMAX for Spider-Man for like, what, 2 or 3 weeks? And I think they're sitting on a convenient truth from a certain point of view. That's just my theory.
But I would even have a hard time believing that, because IMAX or not, and there are a very, very, very small number of IMAX screens. IMAX or not, you're still making the claim when reports came out that Spider-Man Brand New Day was one of the highest advanced ticket sellers in history, that Dune 3, which I don't even know is going to be a $1 billion film. It's going to be successful for sure.
Yeah.
It triple the demand of Spider-Man. I don't think IMAX makes up that big of a difference at all.
No, but,
I don't think it does.
I'm saying if you're looking at a per seat, I'm just looking at it in terms of ratios. I'm trying to think of this as an accountant trying to give you convenient numbers to report.
But if that was the case, that's well thought out. But here's the problem. If that was the case, then the problem would trigger when, after being in the AMC website, we're now trying to access tickets for that one screen.
Yeah.
The problem was their entire site went down, which their claim is so many people, like just the pure mass number, was hitting the AMC site that it just shut the site down. And
right, you couldn't even go on for anything.
yeah, so I have problems believing this. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Am I just being Sally skeptical here? Maybe I am. Maybe you believe what Adam Aaron said and what he's saying is true. And listen, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, he produces the IT data that some analysts out there can look at and say, yep, this is legit. And hey, fair play if that happens. But I just don't believe any of this nonsense. Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Well, as many of you guys know, one of the issues that have kind of been populating our topics lately has been Marvel Disney Plus shows that were either confirmed and then canceled or were in some kind of development and then just kind of put on the shelf over at Disney Plus. Of course, most famously, we were supposed to get a Wonder Man season 2. After they said it's just a limited series, 1 season only, they then saw the accolades they got and they came out and said, yes, we're announcing it, season 2 of Wonder Man. Only then a little bit later to come out and say, nope, change their minds, no Wonder Man. And then we heard about a couple of other series maybe dropping off. The word started going around that maybe after Vision Quest, which we're all dying to see, and how good was that trailer? How good was that trailer from D23? That looked fantastic. I can't wait to see Vision Quest. But the word started going around that after Vision Quest, that they were just getting out, Marvel was getting out of doing live action shows. Now, nobody at Marvel said that, but that started to be the word was going around. Now, I certainly believe they're scaling back. I said this on the show a few weeks ago. I certainly believe they are going to be scaling back how much they do on Disney Plus, but I wasn't sure if they were going to get out of that game altogether or not. Well, according to this story that we have now, I think it originated at Variety.
Per Deadline.
Per Deadline. But this is from the folks over at Games Radar.
Yeah.
Who are writing the following. Following Marvel Studios showing off its upcoming movie slate at San Diego Comic-Con 2026 and D23, you may have noticed that the studio failed to announce any new shows. However, it sounds as though the superhero studio has a few more projects up its sleeve. Oh, that was from Puck. That's right. According to Puck's What I'm Hearing, there are multiple live-action Marvel series in development over at Disney Plus, with official announcements set to arrive soon. Now, we don't know what the new projects are, but more may be revealed at New York Comic-Con. The Marvel Television and Marvel Animation panel takes place at New York Comic-Con on Thursday, October the 8th. The listing reads, join special guests for an inside look at Marvel Television and Marvel Animation's most anticipated upcoming series on Disney+. So it was announced the other day that there was indeed a panel at New York Comic-Con for Marvel Television and Marvel Animation. I believe the guy who heads up that entire division, Marvel Television and Marvel Animation, is a guy by the name of Brad Winderbaum. I hope I'm saying his name right, but I believe it's Brad Winderbaum, who's kind of Kevin Feige's lieutenant when it comes to all things Marvel TV. And, you know, I would have thought initially that it would have just been animated projects, right? Because I think there have been whispers that they're going to do a season 2 of Marvel Zombies. And I don't know if they're going to do another season of What If, which I thought was a hit and miss show. Whatever. Not tremendously interested in a lot of the Marvel animated stuff, to be honest with you. Even I don't even think this season of X-Men 97 was all that great. I didn't think it was all that bad, but I don't think it was as good as season 1. But whatever. That being said, it, at least on the surface, when you look at the combination of that Marvel has announced that they're doing a television panel at New York Comic-Con, I don't think they're going there just to talk about Vision Quest. I don't think they're going there just to talk about how great Wonder Man was. And Wonder Man was great. You would think they would have a little bit more. Now, when you combine that with the fact that Puck, which is very reputable, that Puck is coming out and saying, our sources are telling us that they have multiple live action series in development. So does that mean that Marvel Television is going back full blast? And I don't believe it is. I still believe what I have thought all along when it comes to Marvel on Disney Plus. I think we are going to be seeing them scaling back.
As they should.
Yeah. I mean, because like, instead of having like 3 shows a year, maybe 1 a year.
Yeah. I think
it would be good.
I think it's 2 max, or in the first quarter or second quarter, or maybe the fourth quarter.
And that would include animation. I think like, I honestly think 1 live action max. So we know we got Vision Quest coming. We got Daredevil season 3 coming, which unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get Daredevil season 4, considering nobody's watching it, which sucks because I actually think Daredevil Born Again is really good. But we do have season 3 coming. I don't think we're going to be getting season 4. You know, there have always been these persistent talks and rumors about a Doctor Strange like Wizards Academy. I can't remember what the actual name of it, their own version of Hogwarts, I guess. There have been some talk about Young Avengers, which I don't ever think they're doing Young Avengers, but that is a possibility. Maybe a continuation of Ms. Marvel, but I think they're moving Ms. Marvel from the small screen to the big screen. I don't really know. Listen, I'll be straight up with you. Going back to that last picture we just had up, I would be totally down if they just had a Trevor show. Like, even if Wonder Man wasn't in it, and believe me, I would love to see Wonder Man season 2. I would love a Wonder Man season 2. But if for whatever reason that can't happen, maybe they want to move Wonder Man to the big screen as well. Give me a Trevor show. Trevor, played by Sir Ben Kingsley, is one of the best supporting characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love this character desperately, and I would absolutely watch 8 episodes of just him talking for 45 minutes. It would be great. So I would love to see that. And there are a bunch of other possibilities. So yeah, my guess right now, Jonathan, is that, yeah, I do believe they're going to keep a presence of doing some live action shows.
I do too. I never believed that it was gone for good.
I just think they're scaling it back.
Especially after they told us that their special presentations were going to end. And then they're like, by the way, there's more special presentations on the way. It's like, well, okay. So when this announcement came out, I felt like this was kind of rushing ahead, and I just did not buy it. Sure, we probably won't get a 4th season of Daredevil. I wouldn't mind seeing Daredevil just cross over into other series the way the way he did wonderfully in She-Hulk. She-Hulk was not great, but that episode with Daredevil was.
That was the best part of She-Hulk was Matt being in it. That was absolutely the best part of that terrible show. 100%.
I don't mind him crossing over. I don't mind the idea, because we did see him cross over as a lawyer in No Way Home. I don't mind seeing him cross over on the big screen as like a side character, the way we saw Frank Castle do. I would be all for that. I'm happy we're getting a season 3 if they can complete the story. That's great. What I don't want to see happen is season 3 is another cliffhanger and we never get the finality in a season 4. So I'm hoping they can just finish it with season 3, walk away. And I absolutely want to see more Daredevil, because he's a great character in the Marvel universe.
Jay Quizzle, we need a Madison and Trevor show. I'm down.
Oh,
I'm down. Madison and Trevor.
Now there's a pairing.
100%. Give them the Emmys right now. I'm not lying. I would watch at least the first episode. I would totally watch the first episode of that show.
What if they did almost like a quasi mystery science theater where they do commentary on movies?
Oh my God.
They're just watching because they're both movie buffs.
And like Trevor knows everything about the movies, and like Madison's asking all these questions. Oh my God. I would be so down for that. You know, okay. How about this for a throwback? Okay. And you have to forgive me that I'm forgetting the names of the characters, but you know what I'm talking about. During WandaVision, we saw the most unlikely pair up of Randall Park, who is of course Asian Jim from The Office, and his character, and Mew Mew from Thor, the two Brooke girls, Kate Dannings.
Yeah.
I remember Rob and I would talk about this a lot back when WandaVision was on. You do an X-Files style show.
Oh my gosh.
Kat Dennings and Randall Park as their characters, And they are just the regular human people having to investigate the paranormal, like super powered stuff in a regular world. I would watch the hell out of that show. I think it's
great.
always, thank you. So, by the way, T. Roy is Darcy and Jimmy Woo.
Darcy
Agent
and Jimmy Woo.
Darcy and Woo. Just call the
call
show
it
Darcy and Woo.
I was going to say the continuing adventures of Darcy and Woo.
Yeah, I would be so down for that. So it's going to be interesting to see what direction they do go with their live action shows. So who knows? Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Apparently the reports of the death of Marvel live action shows on Disney Plus have been greatly exaggerated, as they are going to be having a panel at the upcoming New York Comic-Con. And there are reports coming out of Puck that they do have some other live action stuff in development. Do you think that it's just going to be business as usual? Do you think, like me, that, yeah, they'll still get live action shows, they're just going to scale back how many they do? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. And yes, Darth Justice, throw in Luis. Marvel so dropped the ball not having him back. He is one of the best characters in the MCU. I don't know why he's gone. Anyway. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of my favorite newer-ish additions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been David Harbour's Red Guardian. I don't love the Black Widow movie. I thought it was all right. It was fine, whatever. But the shining jewel out of that was David Harbour's Red Guardian. I love this character. And then he's one of the big reasons I love Thunderbolts so much. I know not everybody loved Thunderbolts. That's okay. It's whatever. Film is subjective. It's all personal. That's fine. I thought Thunderbolts was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. And one of the big reasons I loved it was because of David Harbour's Red Guardian. And so it was with some degree of excitement that I knew he was going to be in Avengers Doomsday. However, a story started to go around suggesting that David Harbour may have pulled a Tom Holland and may have just inadvertently dropped a massive Avengers Doomsday spoiler. Now, for those of you who know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. To the best of my knowledge, Doom does not get unmasked in this movie. I think you've seen a lot of other reports saying that too, that, you know, it's probably going to wait till Secret Wars for the mask to come off Doom. So, and by the way, that they may have changed that. Maybe it does happen, whatever. But to the best of my knowledge, from the things that I know and understand, you don't see Robert Downey Jr.'s face in this movie, or at least the other characters don't. So there's that. But David Harbour may have changed all that. Because according to this story that's in IGN, he did an interview with Variety. Now listen to this. Speaking with Variety, Harbour was asked to recite a line of dialogue from the upcoming Marvel blockbuster out of context. Which, you know what? If you're a reporter at Variety, you shouldn't be asking the actor to recite a line from the movie.
From the movie. That was, yeah.
Yeah, but I got to admit, I kind of like the angle of saying, give us a line from the movie, but give it out of context.
Which is
okay. Fun. That's kind of clever. So anyway, he asked him the question. So he asked him to recite his line of dialogue for the upcoming Marvel blockbuster out of context. Rather than decline the offer, Harbour instead offered up a choice quote that fans have taken as confirmation of a major story beat.
Warning, he really chose a hell of a line.
Yes. Warning, potential Avengers Doomsday spoiler follows. And here's the line he says. "You are Tony Stark," Harbour said in the Russian accent of his Red Guardian character.
The Red Guardian strikes again.
The dialogue appears to confirm that the inevitable reveal of Doctor Doom sharing a face with the MCU's Tony Stark will take place at some point within Avengers Doomsday, and that Red Guardian at least will be present when it occurs. It's also, of course, a neat riff on Robert Downey Jr.'s iconic "I am Iron Man" line in his final words as Tony Stark in the MCU. So apparently, oopsie, David Harbour said, "You are Tony Stark."
I guess he could have been joking around. I don't know.
All right. So So here's the thing. There are three possibilities here. I want to go over the three possibilities with everybody and then have everybody judge themselves what seems the most rational and most likely out of these three scenarios. Okay.
Should put up a poll.
We should put up a poll. So option number one, David Harbour just gave away a big spoiler. It's happened before with, I think even, obviously Tom Holland has let some things slip before. I think Mark Ruffalo even once let something slip. Things slip, right? It has happened before. There is precedence for it. But this wasn't a situation where like Tom Holland's rambling about something and something comes out as a part of it. He was asked a specific question. Give us a line of dialogue out of context from the movie. And he even takes on the character, like he thinks about it, takes on the character of Red Guardian, says, you are Tony Stark, and made the conscious choice to reveal that to Variety, ergo to the world. That is option number one, that David Harbour chose to reveal this to the world. Okay. Option number two. And option number two comes from this key point in the question. Harbour was asked to recite a line of dialogue from the upcoming Marvel blockbuster out of context. Out of context. I would submit to the court that, yes, maybe David Harbour made the conscious decision to take on the character of Red Guardian and say a big spoiler line in his interview. But I would like to submit that there is a second option here. That the second option is maybe Red Guardian does say that in the movie at some point, but the out of context part is key.
Right.
Maybe he says it to another character. Maybe he sees Yelena fix a gadget and he goes, you are Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. Yeah.
Yeah. Or sees somebody else do something impressive, says, you are Tony Stark. I mean, again, the key part of that question is give us a line, but give it to us out of context. This would be the textbook definition of a line completely given out of context.
He does meet Reed Richards, who's a genius as well.
Yep.
He could have been saying that to him. I'm not sure if he meets Shuri in this movie, but she's in the movie.
So, I mean, or again, even if it's Bob, Bob fixes a blender and Red Guardian goes, you are Tony Stark.
Tony
I mean,
Stark.
so again,
something mechanical.
It could be a line in the movie that would be radically out of context. So option number one, David Harbour deliberately revealed that big thing to the audience. Option number two, David Harbour did give us a line of dialogue, but it's in a totally out of context scenario, like the question asked him to do. I would also
now
like
I'm
to
going to laugh when I hear if the line's in it, I'm going to laugh.
I'm going to laugh my ass off. Option number three that I would like to submit to the court is David Harbour is known for pulling press's strings. The straight up, remember how we said at the beginning of this, that's kind of an inappropriate question to ask an actor from a very secretive movie. Give us a line of dialogue from the movie, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not slamming on the Variety Reporter because asking them to give it out of context was kind of a neat little twist. But still, I submit that it is very possible, maybe even likely, that in response to an inappropriate question, he decides just to have fun with it and give an absolutely fake answer that most rational people would recognize as a fake answer when he says, you are Tony Stark. So I ask you guys, our viewers, what to you makes the most sense and seems most logical out of the three scenarios? Scenario number one, that David Harbour consciously made the decision to give that as a big reveal. Two, that in literally answering the questions as it was asked, he gave a line that was out of context. Or three, that he was just straight up pulling people's strings. and given a big misdirect and obviously just giving a fake answer. You can come to your own conclusions. I myself do not believe it's option one. I do not believe that David Harbour made the conscious choice and decided to give an answer and then even took a second to put on the Red Guardian accent and make some big reveal in the interview. I just don't think that that's conceivable, but maybe some people do. I don't know. What, like when you heard this, Jonathan, you read this for the first time. What was your first thought, your first impression?
My initial thought was, dude, why would you go with such a big line? Like, that's not what they were getting at. They just wanted something out of context. You could have given a line of you walking into Avengers Tower and talking about your jumpsuit. But the more I think about it, if he truly is just giving it out of context, I think he's just giving someone the honor of saying they're like Tony Stark because they did something ingenious that his character could not figure out mechanically. You know, maybe, like, wow, you're a Tony Stark doing that. I think you're right.
Or he runs into some kid in cosplay on the street. Again,
yeah, I think it is a line in it. I don't think he made up something that's not in it. I think it's option B that it truly is out of context.
I agree. I think my guess is we're going to go into this movie and at some point David Harbour is going to say the line, "You are Tony Stark," but it will not be in a way that reveals that Dr. Doom is being played by.
It doesn't make sense to me that that Dr. Doom is going to unmask himself to the Red Guardian or anyone else in this movie. And that's just me. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm just guessing. And if he is unmasked at some point, I'm just going off of like the Secret Wars comic books. That's where it happened in Secret Wars. So that's my guess.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think that David Harbour actually just did give away some massive, huge plot twisting ending reveal of Avengers Doomsday by saying you are Tony Stark? Or do you think it's one of the other options that number one, he was just giving some misdirection and giving a fake answer to an inappropriate question? Or number two, that he literally answered the question as it was asked, that he gave a line from the movie completely out of context? Whatever you guys think the actual truth here is, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, it's now time for us to get on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments, questions, and observations. We're going to do that right now. Just, you know, I once again left the super chats on for way too long, but I did turn them off about 20 minutes ago. So we have a lot of questions to get through. But before we get to those, we're going to bid good afternoon to our technical producer extraordinaire, Jonathan Voico. Thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
All right. Yep. Tomorrow, Friday. See you guys then.
All right, guys. With that all said and down, let's go over to you guys now. Tomorrow will be fun. Me, Jonathan, and Rob. Gonna have Rob back on the show tomorrow. Let's see. Where are we at here? Who are we starting with as I bring this up? It appears that we are starting with... Damn, there's a lot of questions. I should have turned this off much sooner. Okay. We are starting things off with Never Lose Your Nerd, who writes, Henry Cavill as Omega Red. Love him as a villain. Yeah... I think Omega Red would be more of a see and not hear character. And I think if you're going to get Henry Cavill, you bring in a guy who's going to have a lot more to say and do. So, I mean, Omega Red's not out of the realm of possibility, but I'm going to guess it's not that. That's going to be my guess, but you never know. Let's see. Matt Dowles writes, Hey, John from Liverpool, are you a football fan now? Well, yes, I'm looking forward to the new NFL season. That is football. And before any of you Brits and anybody else around the world, the reason we call it soccer is because you guys called it soccer first. Okay? It is over in Europe that the term soccer got coined and applied to what you call football. And that's what you guys called it first. And that's just what we adopted because we have another sport called football. So we will call your sport soccer. And this, you know what? I will say this. I am getting more into it. Between Ted Lasso, Welcome to Wrexham, going to some LAFC games, going to a World Cup game, and just how great the World Cup was. Yeah, Ann and I just bought a sports package so we could watch some Premier League this year. We want to watch a little Erling Haaland. Haaland. We're going to watch a little Erling Haaland here as he plays on Chelsea. So yeah, I'm starting to get into it a little bit more. All right. By the way, that is exactly where it came from. Where is he? The piggiest one. Association, sauce, soccer. That is exactly how that term got coined. I'm impressed that you knew that. That is exactly where they got where they came up with the term soccer from. Very, very good. Very good. All right, let's keep going here. And just so you know, guys, I did leave the super chats open for too long, so there are a lot of them. So I am going to move at a pretty brisk pace. Forgive me if I am a little short. That is my fault for letting too many questions come in. That's my bad. But I'm gonna try to move a little quickly here. All right. Christopher Brickner writes, the new Insidious film has surprisingly good reviews. You know what? I'm going to admit I fell off the Insidious franchise. I didn't watch the last one. But I have heard good things about this new one as well. So yeah, I actually might have to go out and see it. All right. Jimmy Burris writes, send a chat Tuesday. I have an associate taking cancer bio, majoring in bio for ped dentistry. Just chose television, film, and streaming media as my minor. Gonna be a fun ride these next years. You know, it's funny. That's a sign of the times. Because when I was going to college, film and television was an option. But to show you how times have changed, apparently it is now film, television, and streaming media. Before it just used to be called film and television, but now, Jimmy, it is film, television, and streaming media. And that's appropriate. That's appropriate. So good on you. I hope it goes really well for you, man. Thanks for sharing that. All right. Let's see. Next up, we got the Oncoming Storm writes, I know you said that the people at Paramount said the Aang movie wasn't good enough for theaters, but I don't think Paramount could make a good decision if it slapped them in the face. Hey, listen, all joking aside, there are some insanely gifted, talented people at Paramount. There are, of course, a bunch of knobs there too. 100% there are. I won't name names, but obviously there are. But despite that, all joking aside, make no mistake, there are some very gifted, very talented, very imaginative, very creative, like fantastic talents over at Paramount. There really, really are. And that's part of the reason why it's kind of a shame seeing them going through what they're going through right now. Because yes, there are some dickweeds there, 100%, but don't be confused. There are some really, really gifted people there too. 100% there are. All right. Thanks for that, man. Mike Halsey sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Mike. And Mike writes, it's been announced in the news today that hundreds of the world's biggest whales have been seen gathering off the coast of Greenland for a feeding frenzy. Given what you said yesterday, I thought you'd appreciate the heads up. Oh, talking about whale fall. That's right. Talking about whale fall. Well, then I know, Mike, where to avoid. Again, that trailer yesterday for whale fall. The first trailer made me hesitate to ever get in the ocean again. That new trailer sealed the deal. I am never getting in the ocean again. I'll get on a boat, but I am never getting physically into the ocean again. That stressed me way out than any Jaws movie ever did. That stressed me out, Mike, so much more than any Jaws movie did. But thank you for giving me a heads up to avoid the coast of Greenland for a while. Not even going to get on a boat around there. All right. Next up, Jamie Lane wrote, hey, John, been watching since high school, about to graduate from college. Aw, good to have you, Jamie, and congratulations on the graduation. Thanks for everything you do, and hopefully we get to see you in St. Louis in a future movie meetup. The Budweiser is on me. Well, I'm a cheap date, Jamie, because I don't drink. So you can get me a Diet Coke. Yeah, so look, I'm going to be straight with you. By the way, guys, for any of you who are channel members, I meant to mention this off the top of the show. We are having, I put this up in the community tab last night, but today at 5 p.m. LA time, that's 8 p.m. New York time, we're going to be having a channel members only town hall meeting. So hopefully you guys can come along and join us for that. For those of you who are, and I'll talk about this a little bit more at the town hall meeting later, but I am right now scheduling the next leg of the movie meetup tour. St. Louis is one of the possible stops. The 3 I have nailed down. We haven't scheduled it yet, but the 3 cities 100% we're doing on this next leg of the movie meetup tour is Charlotte, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, and Nashville, Tennessee. And we're going to do those in September. Now, I'm going to add 1 or 2 more to that. And right now, the contenders for me to add are Houston, Pittsburgh is a possibility. St. Louis is one of those possibilities. And so I'll add at least one of those 3, maybe 2, probably not all 3 because that's just too long of a trip, but I'll add 1 or 2 of them. And listen, I will at some point, if I don't do, Houston this trip, or if I don't do Pittsburgh this trip, or if I don't do St. Louis this trip, they will get done in another leg. Maybe later in the year or early next year or something like that. But yeah, so right now I know the next trek is going to be Charlotte, Atlanta, Nashville, and then probably add 1 or 2 more. And for somebody who just wrote in a second ago about Quebec, the next leg, like after this next leg I'm doing, the Charlotte, Nashville, Atlanta one, the one after that, maybe in October or early November, I'm going to do a Canada only stretch. So I'm going to go Vancouver to Calgary to Edmonton to Saskatoon, Winnipeg, and either Quebec City or Montreal, one of the 2. So I will be doing a Canadian stretch because I haven't done a Canadian stretch yet. So there you go. Anyway, okay. Thank you for that, Jamie. Next up, we got Zach, who writes, "Hey, John, I just finished listening to the Wildwood Trilogy book series. I didn't even know it was a book series till, who was it? Was it, I think it was Sean yesterday mentioned it. I didn't know it was a book series. The Wildwood book series that the upcoming movie is based on. Dude, that was so damn good. Highly recommend for you and Ann." Well, I have a rule that if there is a movie coming out based on a book, I will not read the book before the movie. Now, I broke that rule for Project Hail Mary just because everybody and their sister was telling me it was the greatest thing ever. And it was the greatest thing ever. But I generally have that rule. So I won't be listening to the Wildwood book series. But man, that trailer is one of the best trailers I've seen all year. That one they put out yesterday. Wildwood is now officially my #1 most anticipated film for the rest of the year that isn't coming out on December 18th, which is, of course, Doomsday and Dune 3. But other than those 2 movies, I think Wildwood is my most anticipated film of the year now. Or for the rest of the year, I should say. Rich Reviews writes, "What's more likely? That a settlement between Paramount and the states occurs before or after the November elections?" I don't think there is going to be one. The chances for one definitely exist. There is a chance for it, but I don't think there's going to be my guess is there won't be a settlement because there are 2 immovable things. One, the states and the WGA do not want amalgamation. And 2, Paramount is not giving up amalgamation. If those are the 2 pillars and neither side is going to move on those, like, it's Paramount can say, "Oh, we won't do CNN." CNN's not the issue. CNN's not the problem. CNN is not what makes you violate Section 7 of the Clayton Act that moves you into a position of anti-competition and monopoly. That's not, CNN doesn't fix that. It has to be something big and substantial, like giving up HBO Max, like giving up all the television networks, or like giving up the Warner Brothers movie production. So, like, you're going to have to give up something huge that moves the scale so you're not in violation of Section 7 of the Clayton Act as defined by the Supreme Court. And Paramount's not going to do that. And the states and the WGA are not going to accept anything less than that. So I have a very, very hard time believing. Again, it is possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It is possible. It could happen. But I'm just saying I have a hard time picturing any settlement happening at all, unfortunately. All right. Rich also writes, watching the trailer for I Play Rocky, how good does that look? I pondered this question. In the Rocky Creed universe, the fact that people reference the first Creed Balboa fight as an in-universe biopic ever been made it? I'm going to be honest with you, Rich. I have no idea what you're saying. In the Rocky Creed universe, the fact that people reference the first Creed Balboa fight has an in-universe biopic. Okay, has an in-universe biopic ever been made it? Are you asking, like, could they make a fake biopic pretending that the real world is the world of the Rocky movies, and they just straight up make a biopic about the Rocky and Creed fight? If so, you're kind of describing The Office, right? You're kind of describing The Office as a matter, and even that's been done before too. Nathan Fillion show, The Rookie. They did that. They had this, in The Rookie, they had like these crimes that happened, right? In a certain season during certain episodes. And then in a later season, there was a documentary crew making a documentary about those crimes. So yeah, if that's what you're asking, and I'm not sure if it is, but if that's what you're asking, yes, we've seen something like that done before. All right. Pedro writes, howdy, John. Do you think it would be smart for Kevin Feige to cast Hayden Christensen in the MCU? No. I always see him playing Richard Rider, the Nova. Your thoughts and thank you. Sit Campea. I am sitting. Did you mean Sir Campea? Anyway, no. Hayden Christensen, good Canadian kid. I think is a good little actor. I think he's a decent actor. It was just one of those problems, man. Like, they tried to capitalize on his Star Wars momentum, right? And he did a couple of movies. He made that one movie. Tell me if you guys remember the name of it. He made that one movie where he was getting open heart surgery or something, and he was put under anesthetic and it looked like he was passed out, but he was actually still conscious and awake, and he could feel everything happen to him. Do you guys remember that? It was called Awake. Thank you. It was called Awake. So they did Awake. Totally flopped. Then he did another movie, as the cool kid is pointing out, that I was actually in, called Jumper, that I actually kind of thought was a fun little movie. Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it. And then he did this other one where I'm trying to remember. It was like a heist movie. It was him and a couple of other guys were in it. And it was a heist thing. They were pulling off a heist, and I can't remember the name of this one either. That's it exactly. Takers. Takers was it. Thank you, Clark. Here's the thing. Nobody watched any of them. Nobody watched any of them. Now, he was in this other one that he was really good in, I think it was called My Life as a House. Correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, but I think it was called My Life as a House. They say, somebody's saying, you were in Jumper? Who did you play? I didn't play anybody. I was in 3 scenes as a background guy. I was in 3 different scenes as a background guy. Anyway, see if you can find me in Jumper. They shot those scenes in Toronto. So anyway, I think it was called My Life as a House, and he was really, really good in it. I even think it got some awards consideration, but again, nobody saw it. So nobody was interested in seeing Hayden Christensen and stuff, which is really unfortunate because I liked him. So do I think it would be a smart move for them to, like, just in general, Should Kevin Feige go out of his way and just make room for Hayden Christensen to be in the MCU? Absolutely not. 100% no. There's about 40 other, 50 other, 500 other actors that you would do that with before Hayden Christensen. Now, that being said, if Kevin Feige has a role and they've got it already scripted out, and the way a certain character is, and the way they have this certain character being portrayed in the script, Kevin Feige thinks, you know what? Man, Hayden Christensen would be really great for the way this character is in this particular script, then absolutely, 100%. But is Hayden Christensen a guy, and again, good Canadian kid, but is Hayden Christensen a guy that you just force into the MCU, just make a role for him? No, he's not. He's absolutely not, unfortunately. And I like Hayden Christensen. I think he's a good actor, and he's a Canadian. I want to see him succeed and be glorified. But no, the honest answer to that question is no. All right. Draco writes, I hope that Andrew returns as Spider-Man in Doomsday or Secret Wars or both. Yeah, I don't think you're going to see either. I would love to see, honestly, and it'll never happen because of the way the deals are done. I would just love to see Amazing Spider-Man 3. I really would. And you can even frame it in the context of the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. Andrew comes back to his universe. He's a little bit older now, and he's got a new perspective on life because of his experiences in Spider-Man No Way Home. And I would love to see it because Andrew, I love Tom Holland. I love Tobey Maguire. Andrew's actually my favorite Spider-Man. I would love to see them do that. All right, but I don't think we're going to see him in Secret Wars. I don't know that. I'm just saying I don't think you're going to see him in Secret Wars. Okay, writes. Hey, John, Kevin Feige seems to love his hats. Yes, he does. Do you think he has a room in his house displaying each hat for all the Marvel movies he's worked on? I wouldn't doubt it at all. I wouldn't doubt it at all. I've got a couple of friends. I won't throw names out there because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But I've got a couple of friends who are obsessed with sneakers, particularly Nikes. And one of my friends actually, I don't know how he convinced his wife of this, but I guess dedicated an entire room in the house just to have all of his shoes. An entire room just to have all of his shoes that all do the same damn thing. You put them on your feet and you walk in them. Be that as it may. I'm not here to hobby shame anybody because I've got a couple that could be made fun of. But if my buddies can do that, if my buddy can have that, I am absolutely sure Kevin Feige's got some kind of big display for every hat. Because, when Black Panther's coming up, you'll see him everywhere with the Black Panther hat. Right now, you see him with the Doctor Doom hat everywhere he goes. I'm sure he's got it. I'm sure he's got that room. And someday he should auction those off for charity or something. I think he'd make a ton of money. All right. Spencer writes, do you think Warner Brothers and Disney will partner to release actual ads promoting Doomsday at some point in the next 4 months before the two movies release? If they do not, it is a massively missed opportunity. You guys remember a bunch of months ago, I think it was at a screening of Marty Supreme, and there was a Q&A with Timothée Chalamet, and Robert Downey Jr. was doing the Q&A. With Timothée Chalamet in front of Marty Supreme. And Robert Downey Jr. says, we're going to coin the phrase Doomsday. Of course, we had all already been saying Doomsday, and he even had some kind of a Dr. Doom and Dune, like amalgamation kind of a shirt on or something like that. So look, you already had Robert Downey Jr. and Timothée Chalamet doing it individually. I think both of these companies should come together and come up. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it, even if it's just something for YouTube. I think they should absolutely be doing some kind of joint marketing for Doomsday. 100% they should. You know what they should totally do? Because you remember when Barbenheimer was happening, you had like Christopher Nolan, like doing this thing, like he just got to see Barbie. He goes, guys, you got to see Barbie. It's brilliant. Barbie's fantastic, blah, blah. And then you had this thing with Margot Robbie going, oh my God, just saw Oppenheimer. It's so good and blah, blah, blah. Like maybe like have Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth and Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya like going, oh my God, guys, we just saw Avengers Doomsday. You guys are so good. That movie's awesome. And then I've like the two Chris's go, oh, and we just saw Dune 3. It's like one of the best movies. Like they should something. They should absolutely lean into this. If they don't, I think it'll be a massively missed opportunity. Amplify this organic hype that's forming around Doomsday. Amplify it. They should absolutely do it. I don't know if they will, Spencer. I don't know if they will, but they absolutely should. And yes, Danik just had the idea. The studio should commission BOSSLOGIC to do Doomsday posters. 100% posters, but you need to do some video ads as well. Absolutely need to do some video ads as well. Anyway. Okay, next up. Culture Wars Diplomacy writes, hey, John, you mentioned Veronica Mars on the D23 stream. I got a shock when I watched the premiere and realized it's shot in Oceanside where I lived. Really? I never knew that. I'll be honest with you too. I never actually watched Veronica Mars. My first exposure to her was Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which by the way, guys, side note, I was doing meal prep the other day, you know, where you make 2 or 3 days of meals all at once. I was doing meal prep the other day and Ann was in the living room doing some work on her laptop because she's a big, important exec. And she put on Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That is straight up one of the funniest movies ever made. That is straight up one of the funniest movies ever made in human history. That movie is so damn funny. Like every 2 or 3 minutes, there's a huge laugh. Like I seriously put it up there for me with movies like my all-time favorite comedy is 40-Year-Old Virgin, but like I gotta put it up there with things like Step Brothers, I think is one of the funniest movies ever made. 40-Year-Old Virgin, obviously one of the funniest movies ever made. Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, I think is one of the, but Forgetting Sarah Marshall is right up there too. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is right up there too. God, I love that movie. Anyway, next up, Kevin Irving writes, hey, John, I got my tickets to see Paranormal Activity on Broadway this coming November. I had no idea they were doing a Broadway show of that. Can't wait to see how they take the films onto Broadway as a play. What do you think of this? I don't know. Like, I don't mind the idea of taking a film to Broadway. That's been done before and with varying degrees of success, sometimes really good, sometimes not. But how do you do a found footage? It's not found footage, but like home security footage motif as a stage play. That's interesting. I'm not sure how they do it. Not sure how they do it, but it would be interesting to see how that, but in general, I don't mind the idea of taking movies to screen. All right. Bill's HQ writes, responding to Alan Menken versus Lynn. Oh, question yesterday. Love Lynn, but Menken wrote the music for Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Newsies, Hercules, Love, but Alan is the GOAT. Love Lynn, but Alan is the GOAT. Yeah, man. The music in Beauty and the Beast. I mean, and Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Colors of the Wind and Pocahontas. Hercules even has a couple of really good numbers. I don't know, man. I think I'd still have to go Lin-Manuel Miranda. But it's close. It's close. Like they're very different types of songwriters. And maybe if you ask me again in 6 months, I might say Alan, but I'll still lean towards Lin-Manuel. But yeah, when you're talking about the music for Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin alone, I mean, that's some all-time classic stuff right there. All right, next up. Zhao writes, Tom Holland says he's taking a long break after Spider-Man Brand New Day. Hope he has a good rest. Other than Secret Wars, we won't see him see any We won't see any his movies. I don't buy that. Like, a long rest can literally mean, like, if you took 3 months off your job, if you took 3 months off, that would be considered a long break, right? Like, if you went to your boss and said, I need 3 months off, and they gave it to you, that would be considered a long break. I can totally see Tom Holland taking 2, 3, 4, 5 months just completely off. But that doesn't really mean anything in movie terms. He could literally take 5 months off and then still shoot 2 movies before the end of 2027. Like, he could take between now and February off and still then do 2 or 3 movies in 2027. Remember, actors are not directors. Actors don't spend 2 years on a movie. Usually, actors spend about 2 months on a movie. Things like Spider-Man, a little bit different, yes. But literally, you could have an actor. That's why Anne Hathaway has like 5 movies coming out in the span of 14 months. It's crazy. So, yeah, he could take a long break, but don't think that means we're not going to see any Tom Holland for the next 3 years or anything like that. It all depends on his definition of a long break. Because for you and me, a real long break would be 2 or 3 months, and maybe that's exactly what he means too. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Next up, Illy writes, hey, John, do you think with all the box office hits and surprises, this is indicative of years to come for more movie theaters, or is this just 2026? You know what? That's the billion-dollar question right now. Like, a lot of people predicted that 2026 was going to be a very big year. And my God, it already has been, and we haven't even gotten to Doomsday yet. The question will be, can the movie industry ride the momentum and take this influx of people coming to the movies and get them to turn it into a habit, to keep coming back to the movies? Charging $43 for a screening of Dune 3 in IMAX is how you turn people away. That's how you turn people off. So will they do a good job getting those people coming in the doors for these big movies right now and turn them into regular moviegoers? Are they going to give them great experiences? So I don't know, man. All I can say is this is the biggest year we've had since the pandemic. We're just about back to pre-pandemic levels. Can they follow it up? We're going to have to wait and see. That is it. You're asking the absolute right question, man. That is the billion-dollar question. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's see here. Next up, David Glayton writes, greetings, John. Excited for Dune 3. Bought my tickets for the new tallest IMAX screen in the US. 1x43, dual laser in Pooler, Georgia. Easy to get and less expensive. Tried 70mm IMAX ticks and it was difficult. Yeah, see, that's the thing. A lot of people want to see it in that 70mm IMAX because that's the actual film that they want to see it in. That a bunch of Dune 3 was actually shot on film, which is crazy to me. Dune 1 and Dune 2 were shot digitally in the modern techniques. But Dune 3, they decided to shoot that on film. And that's why a lot of people are wanting to see. It's not just about the size of the screen. It's about that resolution that you only get in the IMAX film, that 70mm stuff. I'm not as enamored with 70mm IMAX. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not as enamored with it as a lot of other people are, but that's what people get really excited about. All right. Hope you have a great time with that, David. Thanks for sharing, dude. All right, next up, Victor Von Doom writes, dear John, big fan from India. Oh, thank you, man. I always love how many people watch the show from India. It's amazing. By any chance, have you watched a trailer for an Indian movie called Ramayana? If yes, please give your thoughts on it. Yeah, I've talked about it several times. And I know I'm always mispronouncing it. Ramayana. I hope that I'm saying it. Ramayana. Anyway, trailer's bombastic. They had a real presence at CinemaCon this year. I had some of you guys know this already. I had a very interesting experience with it. I actually had the company behind the movie offer to fly me to India first class and take a tour of their production facilities, of how Ramayana was made, talk to some of the production people, talk to some of the cast, put me up in a 5-star resort in India, all that kind of stuff. And I really thought about it. But I implemented a rule for myself 3 or 4 years ago that I just made the decision to do no press stuff anymore. I do not go to press screenings. I do not go to press junkets. I do not go to red carpets. I don't go to press days. I don't accept any invitation to any press thing ever. And so, but when you get offered a first class ticket and to put up in a 5-star resort to India, you think about it. So I talked to Ann about it and blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, I just decided not to do it because, 2 reasons. If I did it, nobody would ever believe my opinion of the movie. Well, of course, John said he liked it. They flew him first class to India and put him up in a 5-star resort. That would never influence me giving an honest opinion, but that's what people would say. Plus, then I'm going to look really stupid I've got a lot of friends in movie PR and I'm always declining invitations. And the moment I accept that, well, then it's going to look poorly to when I've told all these other people, no, I can't come to your event because I don't do those. And then they see me going to somebody else's event. That and just the whole thing about, I just got tired of being accused. That, oh, you only say you like it for access. I've never given a shit about access, ever. Access is more of a pain in the ass than anything, and it doesn't do anything for me or my channel. Access never got me 1 extra view or 1 extra subscriber, ever. But that's the perception. So I decided, okay, fine. I'm just going to turn off the access tab. I don't go to anything now. The one exception I made, and it wasn't even an exception, I did go to the world premiere of the John Wick movie Ballerina, but I did not go on a press invitation. I was personally invited as a guest by one of the execs at Lionsgate. And so I went as a personal guest, but that was it. I did not go as press. I didn't sit with press. I didn't have any press credentials. That was the only exception I ever made. So, yeah, I mean, I think the movie looks wild. I don't know anything about the original mythology, but it definitely looks absolutely wild. Like I said, they had a very big presence at CinemaCon, so they're going to go big with it. All right. Let's see. Next up, Clayton writes, you mentioned maybe coming to St. Louis. Please, please, please do. Again, I'm going to see if I can make it fit into the schedule. I will see if I can. And like I said, if I don't on this leg of the movie tour, I'm sure we'll do it on another one. Okay. Like I will at some point visit St. Louis. I'm just not 100% sure whether it'll be on this leg of the movie meetup tour or not. All right. McCrae writes, John Campea confirms Harrison Ford cast a new Justice League film. It's all true. Go tell everyone you know, because Deadline confirmed via Complex. Listen, I kid you not. This is 100% true. You guys remember a month or 2 ago when I told you guys about one of the names as a possible Batman being floated to me? And before I said it on my show, I 4 times repeated, nobody should run with this as a story. This is not breaking news. This isn't a scoop. I'm just telling you something that kind of got whispered to me. Probably means nothing at all. Absolutely nobody should run with this as a story. Remember me saying that? Well, guess what happened? Like a dozen outlets ran with headlines, possible Batman casting. And it's like, And none of them mentioned the fact that I said repeatedly over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, nobody run with this as a story. This is not news. This is not a scoop. I just had somebody whisper something to me. Might be right, might not be. I don't give any credit to it, blah, 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 blah. So nobody run with this as a headline, and yet a dozen outlets did. They did it anyway. So you may be joking here, McCrae, but I will not be shocked if I wake up tomorrow to find out that there is some outlet writing, oh, there were reports that Harrison Ford may be joining Justice League. And it's like, yeah, what can you do? You can't win for losing. All right. David Renke writes, hey, John, longtime viewer since the AMC days. Thank you so much. Always enjoyed the OG trinity of you, Dennis and Amy Rose. You keep in touch with them. Any chance of having them on as guests? Thanks, and bring on the filthy. You know what? I actually haven't talked to Amy Rose in years. I know Anne has. My wife has. I think Anne chatted with her a little bit last year. Anyway, her Instagram posts float up for me once in a while. I know she's kept really busy with doing her own productions and things like that. Is doing well. I do keep in touch with Dennis. Dennis and I keep in touch. And I actually had Dennis on the show. It might have been about a year ago, had him on the show. He's always been a really busy guy. Most gifted, talented guy I know, like just brilliant. The nickname for him is the Zen Master. I don't know if he likes that nickname or not, but I mean it as a high praise when I say it. So yes, I've not kept in touch with Amy Rose, but I have kept in touch with Dennis. And those were good days. Those were good days, those early days. All right, next up. Quantum of Zen writes, just sends in a super chat badge. Thank you, Quantum. Appreciate that, man. Mark Branson writes, Throwback Thursday. Our daughter's first movie in a theater was Paddington 2, released last year. Paddington 2 was not released last year. Paddington 3? Do you mean 3? Our daughter's first movie in the theater was Paddington 2. You probably mean 3. She stayed the whole time while being only 2 years old. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. You know what? Paddington 3 was, I'll be honest, it was not as good as Paddington 1 and 2. But it was still a charming little movie. I still very much enjoyed Paddington. I thought Paddington 3 was still quite good. Wait a second. Some people were right. It doesn't say released last year. Re-released last year. Paddington 2 re-released last year. Okay. Yeah. That movie's amazing. Paddington 2 is, I don't care. I'll say it. It's a masterpiece. Paddington 2 is a masterpiece. I love that. Movies are designed to make you feel, and Paddington made me have all the feels. That movie is brilliant. Anyway, I'm glad your daughter had such a good time, Mark. Glad your daughter had such a good time. All right. Thomas Halves writes, hey, John, why do you think DreamWorks Animation has never had a $1 billion grossing movie like Pixar and Illumination, despite having franchises like Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, etc.? Well, I mean, the $1 billion mark is not the mark of success. The $1 billion mark is not the mark of success. Like, they've had movies that have been incredibly successful. We should not be asked, well, why didn't they hit $1 billion? Because only less than 1% of movies made ever joined the $1 billion club. I believe the $1 billion club is still less than 60 members. I could be wrong about that, but I think the $1 billion club is still less than 60 members. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Actually, I'll find out exactly how many members of the $1 billion club there are. So if I go there, lifetime gross. Okay. There are exactly, it's just over. So there are 64 members. 64 members of the $1 billion club. That is less than 0.1% of movies ever made. It's extremely rare. It's extremely rare. So instead of asking the question, why did they fail? It's like they've had big, huge hit films. Tons of big hit films that are part of pop culture consciousness. and whatever. And by the way, most Pixar films don't either. But yeah, you've had like some big sequels and whatever, but it's not a matter of the studio, it's a matter of the individual film. So I would just think of it differently than that, Thomas. I would just think of it in a totally different way than that. All right. Next up, Lily writes, "Hey, John, I just want to say thank you for what you do." Oh, thank you so much. "Your show has inspired me to take a podcast course at my university." Dear heavens, are they now teaching? Is podcasting is now a course at university? Yeah, it's such a big medium now. I guess it should be. I guess that makes sense. How long has podcasting been a course you could take at university? It's a massive medium now. It's just as legitimate as taking courses on television and movies and television, I guess. So yeah, I suppose. Adam is saying you can now go to college for a content creator degree. It's a big field. I didn't know I was such a pioneer. I am, I guess, an online original. Anyway, that's amazing. I'm glad you're able to do that. That is great. Like, because if you're going to do something, why not learn about it from people who are experts in it and do the best you can at it, instead of just saying, I'm just going to do a podcast, which everybody absolutely can. But if you're serious about it, why not actually be serious about it and say, I actually want to do this right? I think that's great. I think that's awesome. Thank you for teaching me something, Lily, that I did not know before. All right. Next up, Curtis Lopez writes, "Yesterday when I asked who was a better musical songwriter, Alan or Lynn," yep, we already kind of went over this. Menken was the guy who did songs for Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. Yep, covered that, Curtis, but thank you for following up to give me a little bit of clarity on that. Thank you for that. Appreciate for the follow-up. Ethan writes, "Could Meryl Streep keep Magneto's Holocaust backstory?" Why did I say could Meryl Streep? I just looked at it quick and my brain interpreted Marvel Keep as Meryl Streep. I must be tired. Marvel Keep, Meryl Streep. Could Meryl Streep keep Magneto's Holocaust backstory intact? Yes. If anybody can do it, Meryl Streep can. Okay. Now let's go to the actual question. Could Marvel keep Magneto's Holocaust backstory intact by having him take on more of a father figure role with Charles for fear of backlash? No, that would be idiotic. Absolutely idiotic. It's still, so you're going to get rid of the core relationship that what makes X-Men X-Men, which is the dynamic of Charles and Eric, Magneto, and their, for lack of a better analogy, their Malcolm X, Martin Luther King philosophical divide. That is the core essential element of everything that is the X-Men mythology. That's it. You're going to get rid of that so you can accommodate a backstory for Magneto that has been changed several times in the comic books and wasn't even introduced until the 1980s? That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So no. No. Let it go, guys. In the same way that you cannot have Batman today not have a computer, because when Batman was created, he didn't have, you can't do that. That was fine when it was the 1950s. You can't do that in 2026. We just have to let that go. You were at the very edge of when you could do that when Bryan Singer made the first X-Men movie back in 1999. That was 99, right? I think it was 99. Anyway, that was nearly 30 years ago. And that was at the very edge of when you could still possibly do it and do it well. And by the way, it made for the greatest opening to any comic book movie ever, with young Eric being torn away from his family. 100%. But no, you maintain Magneto's Jewish background, his heritage, all that kind of stuff. But because it's 2026 now, much like a lot of things with a lot of classic superheroes, had to be changed over the years because it's a different era now. We don't live in an era now where it's realistic that Magneto was in the concentration camps as a kid. It's not feasible anymore. That era has passed. So now you maintain his Jewish heritage, sure, but you're going to have to give him another human atrocity that happened in the more recent past that he witnessed and endured as a child that turned his heart against humanity. You just have to. You just have to at this point. Anyway, let's see. Next up, David Renke writes, I still can't get over the fact that my brain read it as, could Meryl Streep keep Magneto's Holocaust? Listen, you can't keep Magneto's Holocaust background, but if anybody could, it's Meryl Streep. All right, David Renke writes, any chance for a Michigan movie meetup? We have a great theater in my hometown of Novi, Metro Detroit. Great area to meet afterwards and RV parking. I don't have any plans for Michigan right now. I've spent a lot of time in Michigan. As a matter of fact, my city of Hamilton, Ontario, we would have these annual games with Flint, Michigan. They're called the Canusa Games, CAN for Canada, USA for America. They're called the Canusa Games. And we used to have these things. I used to go in there all the time. I used to go to Grand Rapids too, because when I was really into theology, probably the biggest, best Bible bookstore in that half of the continent was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And about 3 or 4 times a year, me and some of my friends would just go to this giant warehouse and look at all these theology books and like some older ones and stuff like that. I used to go there all the time, but I don't have any plans for a Michigan stop right now. Again, that may change, but it's definitely not going to be on this next, not on this next leg of the movie meetup. All right. Sam M writes, finally, I can catch you live. You have said a few times that you were read in on Doomsday. Even Screen Crush mentioned that you have confirmed some leaks. Why would Marvel read in anyone? I never said Marvel read me in. I never said that. That's all I'm going to say. McCrae writes, for Sons of Anarchy, remember legends never die. Man, this is such a crazy idea for a show. It is such a crazy idea for a show. But I am all about it. A Galaxy Quest-like take on the actors who were in Sons of Anarchy. I love it. I think Charlie Hunnam just came up with a stroke of genius. I hope they're able to make something really fun. All right. Ubin writes, saw you predicted 1.5 billion ceiling for Odyssey. Well, let me back up though. If you go back a ways, I certainly did not predict a 1.5 billion ceiling. Like I thought it was lower than that initially. I thought it had a chance at $1 billion. So I cannot take credit for saying 1.5 billion. I mean, and now it looks like 1.5 is the ceiling, but I was, just to be fair, I was well below that before. I was well below that and clearly wrong. But anyway, saw you predicted 1.5 billion ceiling for Odyssey, but it's looking to get to 1.45 by Sunday, starting to look like 1.6 is the floor and could go as high as 1.8. Don't forget though, it's not going to keep this pace. It's all rapidly now slowing. So we'll see how high it can go. Either way, it is now the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Now it's just a matter of how big it pads its lead. All right. Casual Cups writes, is it fair to count the Endgame Encore box office towards its original run? If people buy tickets to go to the movie theater to see it, yes, it's fair. Given that new footage was filmed retroactively compared to No Way Home re-release, where the extra footage was already filmed, it doesn't matter. And by the way, the new footage filmed is insignificant next to the runtime of the movie. It's insignificant. So at the end of the day, it's still just Avengers Endgame. Yeah, they're going to throw in an extra scene here and a little bit of unseen footage that was already shot before and a new post-credit. It's, if you get the actual amount of seconds of unseen footage that's going to be in the movie, it probably is going to account for 2%, maybe 2%. Regardless. So as long as it's still Avengers Endgame, and it is, and you're putting it into a movie theater, which they are, and people decide to click buy and buy a movie ticket to go see it, then it's absolutely fair for it to continue to count towards Endgame's box office. It absolutely is. All right. But that's a question I think a lot of people are going to be asking casual, like, because if Endgame does pass Avatar to become the highest grossing film of all time, a lot of people are going to be asking that question, and I'll defend it. I'll say, yeah, it's totally fair. Just as it will be fair again 2 or 3 years from now when they put Avatar back in re-release again, add 3 minutes of unseen footage, and it retakes the spot from Avengers Endgame. Then that'll be fair too. So as long as you're putting a movie in theaters and people click buy to buy tickets, I think it should count. All right. Vixter writes, I recommend the Magic Faraway Tree film with Andrew Garfield and Claire Foy, out this weekend in the U.S. Cinemas. Really lovely film. You know what? It's completely under my radar. I am not even familiar with it. And you know, it's funny. I was just wondering the other day, what happened to Claire Foy? What happened to Claire Foy? Because she was all the rage with The Queen, obviously, because she was brilliant in The Queen. I won, I think, a bunch of Emmys for it. And I really liked her, although the movie wasn't so great in their Girl with the Dragon Tattoo kind of remake thing they did. But I was wondering because she was it. Like, she was the rage, and then has kind of just been disappeared for a while. I was wondering about where she is. I hope this is good. All right. Nam writes, after a month, I finally realized why I love the Odyssey so much. It's for the respect its ambitious production commands. Its acting and visuals are great, but nothing earth-shattering aside from Anne Hathaway. I don't know, man. I think there's some pretty great performances in it. But when you say it's for the respect its ambitious production commands, yeah. I mean, like I said, going into the Odyssey, I thought the trailers were whatever. Like, the trailers were the trailers, whatever. You guys know I had some criticisms too of the daddy issues, and my dad's coming back. I had some criticisms of that too. But the best pieces of marketing for the Odyssey wasn't the trailers, not for me. It was the behind the scenes little featurettes they were putting out on YouTube showing how they made the Odyssey. Everything from that 60 Minutes piece about how they utilized 70 millimeter film to shoot the entire movie and what that meant for editing. Like, they literally doing the old style, making an edit, literally take scissors, clip the film, put the film together, tape it together. Like, that was insane. And then they had those other pieces online about how they actually shot in these ridiculously hard to get to locations. They didn't build a cave on a soundstage. They found this cave in the middle of a mountain, and they just hauled all their production equipment up this mountain to go and shoot in this cave. I mean, it's wild. And that to me, man, that to me was the best pieces of marketing for the movie. I just thought that was incredible. All right. Vixter writes, Odeon Cinemas in the UK, AMC owned, have said their limitless monthly pass now won't let you watch the same film more than 5 times. So not limitless then. Okay, I'll say this. While in principle, I don't like that. I don't like that they're setting a limit like that in principle. That being said, if you had told me that they were saying you can't watch the same movie twice, I would have a real issue. But setting a limit of 5 times for the same movie, I don't think there's a lot of people going to see a movie more than 5 times. Am I out of bounds here by saying I doubt more than 1 out of every 100 people will go see a same movie more than 5 times. Like, I get it. In principle, I don't like putting some kind of limitation. I get it. But in principle, AMC A-List, you can see 16 movies a month. That's a limit. What if I wanted to see 18? Okay, great. But how many people out of 100 are seeing more than 16 movies a month? So sure, it's a limit. And yes, philosophically, maybe I have a bit of an issue for it. But saying 5 times for the same movie, you can still see the same movie 5 times. You just can't use it to see it for a 6th time. I'm not going to get too worked up about that. Somebody's saying, it's not normal, but I saw Infinity War 7 times. Okay, yeah. But it's not the end of the world if you paid for 2 of them. Right? And Infinity War was 10 years ago? 8 years ago? 8 years ago. Yeah, Infinity War was 8 years ago. Oh God, no, it was, 8 years, 8 or 9 years, either way. So yeah, how often would you see a movie more than 5 times? And I think it's okay. I think it's okay if after 5 they go, hey, would you mind maybe paying for this one? Again, philosophically, I have an issue with it a little bit, but in practical terms, I don't think that's too bad. I don't think that's too bad. Anyway, but let's talk again if they start in shitification with it and start dropping that down to 4 and then down to 3 and then down to 2. Let's have that conversation then if a slippery slope happens. All right. Luis Mendoza writes, yesterday you spoke about next movie meetup. How about Clayface? We'd love to see you in Houston. I don't pick the movies until I know exactly the dates. Because if I go out on a movie meetup tour on the opening weekend of Clayface, I'm not going to do Clayface because the theater's already going to be mostly sold out without people for the movie meetup. I generally try to pick a movie that's already been in theaters a little bit, or would be a less attended screening. That way there's plenty of seats for people who are just coming for the movie meetup. Because if I go like opening weekend of Clayface, well, then maybe in a 200 seat theater, there's only going to be 30 seats left for people who want to come for the movie meetup. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Plus, if Clayface is rated R, it probably won't be Clayface because a lot of people like to come to movie meetups and bring their families. Like they like to bring their kids and stuff like that. So I probably won't be picking Clayface as one of the movies for movie meetup. All right. Next up. Spicy writes, hey, John and crew, hope all is well. Just wondering, how long do you think Marvel should wait before doing any Phoenix Force stuff? Should they make it an Avengers type event of movie with crossovers? Nah, I don't see Phoenix Force being that. They've tried doing Phoenix stuff a couple of times and it's just not it. It's not working. That doesn't mean you can't bring in the Phoenix stuff. You can, but I think history tells us you don't make your big event surrounding Phoenix because they've tried it a couple of times. And granted, they weren't very good, but neither interested the audience, neither brought out the audience. And more importantly, that's left a little bit of a bad taste with the audience, right? So do you introduce Phoenix? Yes. Do you make it the centerpiece like the Infinity Gauntlet or whatever of a big, team up movie sort of thing? I don't think so. I don't think you do. There are so many huge storyline events in the X-Men's chronicles and history that you can draw from. Phoenix was one of the big ones, but I don't think you can do that one as your big thing. Again, make it a part of X-Men at some point, but I don't think it ever becomes the central story. But who knows? Maybe Kevin Feige thinks differently. We'll see, man. All right. Next up, and the last one of the day, comes to us from Red Rose, who says, Sad of thinking of another tragedy for Magneto background. And since World War II, we are not spoiled for choice. True. It hit me during your conversation about how awful it is. I mean, and that's the unfortunate truth, right, Red Rose? Is that we as a species are so effing pathetic that we are not want for lack of options of picking horrendous human atrocities, even since World War II. We are a horrible species. We're a horrible species with the capacity for great good. Sure. Yes. But it is kind of a depressing thought. Like I said, it kind of out of hand, admittedly. It's like, hey man, listen, there's lots of various human atrocities we could pick from that could be his background. But it really sucks the fact that it is true that there's a lot of human atrocities that we could pick from. It is a depressing thought. No doubt about it. Anyway, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to the thousands of you guys still here in the live chat joining us. It's been great watching you throw in some thoughts and ideas and giving me some information as well as we're doing the show. You're not just watching the show. By being in there, you're part of the show. So thank you to all you guys watching live. And of course, big thank you to those of you who sent in super chats. Number one, because it gives us great, interesting things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the John Campea Show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Hey guys, make sure you come on back and join us again tomorrow for the next installment of the John Campea Show. For those of you who are channel members, and thank you for being channel members, don't forget that about 3 hours from now, we're going to have our channel member only town hall. I look forward to talking to you guys then. So that will do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for being here. My name is John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.